Hello, it's me again. Just going to be some bits and pieces, catching up with a few, well, things I'll show you in a sec, and some donations. If I just put you down here a sec, I'll just get the. Hope you're all well. Hope everyone's doing okay. You can see the A2000, A3000 motherboard there, the Archimedes that we've been looking at in previous streams. Not going to do much on that today, if anything, actually. I'll just show you what progress I've made on it, and then move on to a number of other little bits and pieces. So we've got some people joined. In a sec. Just bear with me, guys. Anybody joining? Or gals? Gauntlet, hi. Hi, Gauntlet. Is that extra new? Hello. I've just seen you over on Stephen's stream. Yeah, Stephen Leary's been doing the stream today. He's done a couple actually. He did one just around, well, before lunchtime, and then one just after lunch. He's took a break today. He may or may not do another one today, but he's been building a Spectrum clone, hasn't he? You know, one of those like Harlequin type boards. So the first thing we'll start with here, I'd just like to give a special thanks to a couple of things that have arrived. This has come from zxkim, 3D printed extractor fan here for solder fumes. That's fantastic, isn't it? He's done an awesome job. It's you know, 3D printed, but look at the quality of it. It's absolutely excellent. He's got a really good 3D printer. I'm not sure if he designed the model himself or whether it was just, you know, one that he managed to pull off the shelf, not, you know, off the shelf kind of stock 3D model, or whether he's designed it himself. I'll let him maybe let us know if he joins, or if he joins later. I'm not sure. I'll let you know if I find out, but nevertheless, I think it's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It's got a little switch down there, look. Switch it off and on. He's included the 12-volt fan as well, and it's got a little DC barrel jack there. So I've got some DC connectors, and I've got some dodgy power supplies that I might be able to wire this up with in a minute. So I thought we'll try and get that working in a minute. I'll try and rig a power supply up for that. The other, it's amazing the generosity, it seriously is. The other amazing thing here that I did not expect, look at this, has arrived here, a gift note from Andrew Littleboy. Hi Chris, I always see you struggling with your handheld desoldering pump. Here's a new one on me from Andrew Littleboy. So thank you ever so much for that, Andrew. That is really, really nice. It made my day when that arrived. It arrived yesterday. I was a bit under the weather though, so I haven't really had a chance to unbox it properly, you know, take it out of here and test it. So I thought we'll do that. Because I don't know where it's gone now. Yeah, this I'll show you this as well. Perhaps do this in a minute. This, I stuck a battery cell on here, you know, a battery holder and a button cell and a diode the other day, and I did say this was playing up a little bit, and it is, and I can show you that. I've worked out, I think, what's wrong. I think it's the IC itself actually, but it could be a bad connection. So I'll remove this. We'll use this to remove it with, I think, but I'll show you the behaviour of this first because it's quite interesting. It's the first time I've seen that kind of behaviour on one of these, actually. When they don't work, they generally don't work. So you just won't, you know, it'll say no real-time clock detected, but that's not what's happening with this, as you will see. So, yeah, my shelves arrived, shelves, did I say shelves? My shelves arrived for my test dongles here, you know, the one for the serial and Powell that I created a few streams back. So those have now got encapsulation for those, which reminds me I can get rid of all these bits here because these are surplus to requirement. Let me just get rid of those, put those out of the way. I'll just move that memory module out of the way. So I'll just bring you over to here. You can have a look at some of the progress that's been made on this. I spent some time over the last few days cleaning up all the wires and things. There's still a lot more to do on this, but it's looking a lot better. Still need to remove this here. This needs to come off. Probably these sockets. You can see it's green up there, look. These chips will have to come off here, and these sockets. That one might be all right, but I think I'll probably just take all three of those off and clean them up anyway. The sort of thing you can do with some things that you can't swap out. I mean, you can swap these out, but like this, for example, is a good example of something that is not easy to replace. Hang on a sec, tripod having one of its moments again. Yeah, this was super green and corroded. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Can you see now it's kind of like a copperish sort of colour. Just soaked it in vinegar for overnight, you know, about 10 or 11 or 12 hours or something. The pins still need more work here. You can see they're awful, but trust me, they were far, far worse than they are at the moment. So I think, all being well, that having done that, I think that's, you know, with a bit more work, cleaning up the pins on the bottom there, that should be okay. you probably can get a direct replacement for that, but I would imagine it'd be quite hard because it's about the pin spacing. Can you see? Let me just show you over there again. It's about the spacing. You may find that if you get one with the right number of pins, it might not have this arrangement here with the gaps in the relevant places. Although I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I just know from experience with some of those little mini connectors, the ones that are PCB mounted like that, you know, 90 degrees, they can be really difficult to find, you know, replacements for. And there's a cap there. I showed this on my Twitter stream. Actually, you can see that just it would split in two. Can you see? It's kind of green, so I know it's not focusing very well there. I'm not used to using this camera in terms of trying to get it to focus, but when it was on the board, I could see like a little split along the top of it, and as soon as I heated it, it just fell into two separate parts. So yeah, that's going to be a cap that needs replacing on that. So I'll just catch up with the chat, see what's going on. Hello. Anybody's joined? Barry, Nicklin, Lametti, Mike Simcox, hi. Happy Saturday, indeed. As I say, I hope everyone's well. SLR mod shop, 140mm. Yeah, I think it probably is that far. It's quite large, isn't it? Let me just wheel you over to this other room. I'll just show you this, and then we'll come back over here and do a bit of soldering and stuff. So let's just take this over there. Yeah, so you can see we've still got the A500 motherboard set up there. I removed the RAM from this because, as I told you, you still see 1 meg. You plug this in and you've still only got 1 meg of chip. Just making sure it's not powered on, it isn't. Let's just carefully connect that up. Hopefully it's behaving the same way. The other thing I'll show you while we're here as well, something else I did, I put a nice flexible wire onto that ROM switcher that we covered in a previous video there, and I did exactly what I said I was going to do. Put little eyelets. I used a wire leg and just created a little tiny little loop that's just tight enough to fit onto a pin, and then heat shrinked it on there, and obviously it's on that pin at the moment, but normally you'd lift this off, find the keyboard reset pin there and just hook it onto that pin and put your connector back on. The other thing that arrived is, and I'll show you on the mat over there, it's like the double-sided thing for that socket, so it's the full length of that now. And on the socket on this board here, this Rev 6 and the other ones as well, it's only 20 pin, so the pins here on this side are overhanging. But I think the idea behind that is the reason those are 40, this one's a 42 pin and these are 42 pin here, is for the larger chips that you can fit into an A500 Plus. Anyway, let's just switch that on and I'll point you at the screen. So hopefully we'll get the same behaviour. I'll try and zoom you a little bit there as well. Okay. Yeah, so if I go into battery and clock and stuff. Now the interesting thing is, hang on, is that it's got the right date, hasn't it? And the right time. No, it hasn't. The time's not right. It's not 11:32. But anyway, just watch what happens here. At the moment it's giving no errors. Now if I do set date and time, and if I remember rightly, it gets towards midday. So if I change the minutes, in fact we can change the hour. It's something to do with the 24-hour thing. If we change it to say 1:59, let's do that. Save and exit. Right. Just watch it. I'm just going to go get a laptop to catch my charge. Just watch it when it ticks over the hour. I'm hoping it does it. It was consistently doing it yesterday. It took me a while to just work this one out though, because what was happening, I could leave it on test and it would be fine, and then leave it overnight, come back the following day and it would come up with an error. It would say that the time and date is invalid, as you'll hopefully see when it ticks over any second. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do you see it's gone to 00? It was at 13:59, wasn't it? And it's gone 00 up here. That isn't exactly what happened yesterday. When I did that yesterday, it came up with an error saying time and date is invalid. On this occasion, that hasn't happened. It's just reset to 00. It's almost like it's in 12, you know, it's not got the AM PM. It's like in 12-hour mode or something. It's bizarre. So maybe there's a bad connection on all the pins. I don't think so. They look fine. I mean, I can just do that again. I can set that again. Let's do hour. Just put it to 12. Let's do 12. 12:59. We'll lots of clicks. Hang on. 40, 51, 8, 9. I can do seconds as well. Just move it nearer to the end. Let's give ourselves 5 seconds. That should be enough. Save and exit. So it's 12:59. It's about to go to 1 o'clock. Oh, it hasn't gone to. Oh, it's gone to 1 o'clock AM. Look, it hasn't gone to 1300. This is the thing. So it's like something weird with the AM PM thing. So what I was going to do is desolder that chip, and I've got 2 other spares here that I think are faulty as well. I want to test those on here to see if those are any better. But also, when we've removed that chip, you never know. We might find some corrosion underneath it or something. Maybe that's the issue. I have got some of them on order. But if that one is faulty and the other 2 are faulty, which I think the other 2 are, that means 3 faulty real-time clock chips on these memory modules. Terrible fire. Hello, Stephen. Sorry, I've not interrupted your exercise/relaxation period because I know you were going to have a bit of a break. Right, so let's go back over there and take that with us. I think. Hang on, I'll just point you down here a sec. The other thing that's arrived is the cable for the A2000 as well. You know, a power ATX2 2000 motherboard power cable thing. So we can hopefully maybe try and get that working on one of 2000 motherboards. It should be straightforward. I'll show you. But there's a jumper because that cable doesn't provide the tick signal. So I need to. We'll have a look at both boards, see if we can find the jumper on those boards, and see if we can get that working as well. I think I need to find a switch for that as well. So that's something else we need to do. So I'll just. Sorry, camera's bobbing around while we just do this. Let's just fly back over there. Put you on charge. I know you don't need any charge, but the camera needs charge. So let's just put that there. Set you up here a sec. Sorry for the wobble. There we go. Yeah, 38%. It's not been on charge today. So let's get this open. It looks really good. It's a really good brand. Apparently, it's got a good reputation. These engineer desolder pumps. So if you missed the start, thanks Andrew Littleboy providing this, and you can see I've got like a little spare piece of silicon tube in there that you can chop off what you need to replace the little bit that's on there. That's fantastic. So let's see how powerful this. Wow, that's got a really powerful spring on it. Listen to that. Yeah, let's just do a comparison. Where's this piece of junk gone? Here we go. Yeah, and you can see it's held together with tape. It's melted. It's it's had its day. That must be 20 years old. That I think at least. This is going to be fantastic. It's amazing. It's so small, but it's got so much power there. Yeah, so I'll have a go removing that chip with that in a sec. Let's put that silicon out of the way. I don't want the cats to get that later. If that works, well, it will work, but I'm bin this. Unless anybody wants it. I can't imagine anyone would want that decrepit desolder pump of mine, the old one. Stuff flying all over the place here. I am getting in a mess. The big problem is I've got too many things on the go. It's like I've got these memory things, and I've got the ROM switches, and I've got this Archimedes, and I've got the A4000, I've got the Spectrums over there. One of them I still haven't finished recapping. I'll give you a closer look at that. You can have a look at it. Some of the pins look awful. We've got lots of tinning up to do. Hardly anything's been tinned up. But it is looking a lot better. Lots of the wires have started to come out clean and stuff on that. I did some preliminary testing on here, and I'll be honest, it doesn't look good. It's like literally all the pins on here, despite the fact they look alright, hardly any of them have got connections. Maybe 1 out of about every 8 or 9, so you could say 3 or 4 on there are okay, all the rest aren't. And it's the same with these chips here, so you know what, that's going to be painful when I come to get everything back on there. I'm not looking forward to finishing that off. I meant to do it today, but yeah, can't motivate myself to do it. Right, let me just get the chat back up again. Hang on, it's going to screensaver. So for the fan, and we'll do this in a sec as well for the fan, so we need a DC jack. Let's just see if we can find a DC jack. I've got a box of miscellaneous DC jacks. So let's just see if I've got one the right size. I've got quite a beefy one here. Let's see if that'll fit it. That's a bit too big, I think. I'm not sure if he said it was I think he told me the size. I just forget what size he said it was now. Some more here. What are these? Unmarked. Let's try one of these. See if that'll fit. Nope, still a bit big. So we need to go smaller than that. Got a 2.5 by 5.5 here. I suspect this one might fit. Let's try this one. If I can get the blooming bag open. Yeah, that fits nicely. Actually, I can't get it out now. Yeah, that fits. You can see that. So that's exactly what we need. That's good. I've still got a spare one of those. That's good. So I just need to find a 12-volt power supply from my box of power supplies over there. I'm sure one of them is going to be 12 volts. Nicola, do you do repairs? Yes, I do repairs, but do I do custom repairs? Not really. Although that might change. If I end up after the furlough period with no job, I might have no choice but to do repairs. Yeah, I just do repairs from a channel, which, you know, sometimes I'll offer to patrons, patrons if it's something that interests me. I can't accept every single thing that people ask me to look at though. A good example was someone asked me recently if I wanted to look at their SNES, Nintendo SNES. Now the problem with the SNES, I'll be honest, I've seen enough of those boards now to convince me that they are painful to repair. What happens a lot is PPU1 is a common failure. You know, the first PPU chip. Well, where do you get a replacement PPU? You've got to go and find a working SNES board. If you get a faulty SNES board, the chances are it's going to have a faulty PPU1 on it. The other thing that happens with those SNES boards is you don't just get one faulty chip. On a number of them I've seen, things I haven't shown on my channel, you get like a faulty CPU and a faulty PPU1, or PPU1 fails and kills PPU2. So it's like, it just becomes an absolute chore to repair them. It really does. You know, I don't know, when you look at it, there's only 3 main chips on there anyway. You may as well just buy another SNES board. It really isn't worth the hassle. Seriously, it's unusual for me to say that, but on those, there are so few things on them anyway. It's a bit different if you got, you know, I don't know, some problems with sound or just needs recapping. Those are all things, yeah, you can do. But as soon as you get problems where the video's totally messed up, it's never the RAM. It's always blooming PPU1 or PPU2. So I've got a switch here. This is the adapter here for the A2000. And they've got a message on here, a bit of text here that explains. It says, at motherboard location J300, cover pins 2 and 3 with a jumper to internally generate tick signal. So I think it's taking it from, is it the V-blank? You know, the V-sync signal. I think it was Chucky pointed out on one of Steven's streams the other day, something along those lines actually, that on the 500, that's how they do it. Because on the Amiga 2000 power supply, one of the pins is a tick signal. And it's just, depending on what region you're in, it's either a 50 or 60 hertz pulse that the system uses for the timing, you know, for one of the CIAs, I think, for the real-time clock stuff. But what you can do is, like say, on these 2000 boards, it seems there's a jumper. So we'll have a look at that on both. I've got a Rev 4 board here and a Rev 6 too. And I like to just test that, but it came without a switch. So I found a switch here. It's got a bit of solder on there. We'll clean the solder contacts up on that as well. Let's just try that solder pump on there if we can. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Let me just rotate the camera around a little bit. It's a bit better when it's in front of me like this because I can actually see what you can see. Although it does hinder me a little bit. So let's just add a little bit of fresh solder on here. It's got some crusty solder. And let's just give this a try. Let's see how we get on with it. Let me move that out of the way. Move a bit further over here, you can perhaps see what I'm doing. Oh, it's not going to be easy to do. Hang on. Oof. Yeah, that's done a good job actually. It nearly blew the thing out of my hand though, that's the problem. I need to remove the solder off there. Let me see if I can grab it with something. Let me think. Bring the helping hands over. If I don't remove the solder off it, it's not going to clip onto the spade things properly, is it? It's a bit big to fit in there, look. Yeah, I was just thinking about possible jokes I could make about what I just said, but no, I don't want to do that. Yeah, wow. That thing's so powerful. It's incredible. Anyway, that is not the best thing to be doing with that, really. Braid is the best thing for this. We will use the solder sucker in a minute to remove that clock chip. These helping hand things are good, but you know what? There's that many adjustments on them. They often start sliding around if you're not careful. You've got to keep tightening up the little knots in the various places on them. Afternoon. Chucky said the tick can just go to VSync. Yeah, that's what the point I was trying to make, Stephen. Is that Chucky was saying on the A500 you can just take it from the VSync. But on the 2000 boards, I think that's exactly what it's doing. I think there's a jumper there for that very purpose. I wasn't aware of it though. So I just need to go find that jumper and jumper it, I think. See if that's all gone now. Yeah, that's not too bad. Let's just try it. See if these spades will fit on here. You'd think they would have provided a switch. And to be fair, I only realised after I checked out, it said, you know, it listed what I would ordered and then said no optional switch. I was like, oh, don't tell me I've missed point to buy the switch. I never saw that on the page. But you see, when I bought that A4000 one off Amiga from Amiga Kit, that came with a switch. So, yeah, I would say just put a blooming switch on it. Don't make it optional. What is it, £1 or something for a switch? I mean, I could take the one off the 4000 cable there, but that's just going to annoy me, isn't it? As soon as I connect the 4000 back up, I can swap the switch over again. See if we can. Yeah, there we go. That'll plug on there quite nicely. And let's plug that one on there. There's still a bit of solder on that, I think. Is there? Let me use these. It's not going to go on, man, is it? There must be. There must be a little bit of solder on it somewhere. I haven't had much luck the last few days jabbing my hands. You can see there, I jabbed a big piece of my finger out. One of the cats then jumped into my hand yesterday and leapt off the table and pulled the mouse off and the mouse mat and everything, and then somehow attached himself to my hand, and I had like blood dripping off every part of my hand. It was like, I was horrified at how much damage he did to my hand. It doesn't look so bad today, actually. All the swelling's gone down. But yeah, just the last few days I seem to have had lots of small accidents. Smashed my head on a table as well. What did I do? I can't remember what it was now. I was bending down to get something from under the table, and my new PC was behind me and just happened to stick into my bum, which made my head go forward and smash into the table. It's just like, I'm a walking disaster zone the last few days. Seriously. Anything that could go wrong has been going wrong. I slipped on a board, I'll show you that in a minute. I was trying to clean something really carefully with a tool and somehow managed to slip and put like a 5-inch gash down the board. I mean, it's not an important, expensive board. Where's it gone now? Let's see if we can show it you. It's across the other side of the room. Let's go and get it. Hang on. Yeah, these things, I'm spending a bit more time getting the real-time clocks, or trying to get the real-time clocks working on these, so I forget which one I added the button cell to yesterday, the hold, I think it was this one. So this one's now had a mod, but you can see I was trying to clean something here, and look, the screwdriver slipped and went right down it. So yeah, but again, the cheap third-party RAM expansions, it's not a big deal. Simon Zafari. Cat claws can be sharp. Yeah, tell me about it. I think it's the best solution for your A1002 to jump a wire so that tick comes from VSync. Yeah, it's certainly the easy way to avoid well, having to worry about it, isn't it? Is that going to be any better now? I don't see any solder on that at all, so you would think that that would nicely crimp on there, but then again, it depends how squashed down it is. I want to try and get it central. Oh, stupid thing. I know what's going to happen if I try and use my hands. I'm going to slide into myself or something. I might do with the pliers. That was the other thing I managed to do. I managed to cut one hand using the other hand. How on earth do you do that? I mean, just my hands, no tools or anything. It's like one of my hands. I went into, if it was this thing here, actually, that's how I did it. I slipped into it with my thumb trying to open something and cut myself with myself. I don't even know how that's possible. My nails aren't that sharp at the moment. Imagine they're a bit long. Oh, I'm going to have to cut that piece of skin off. It's really starting to annoy me. Come on. Ah, there we go. Look at that massive hole. Ah. What is wrong with that? There we go. There we go. Finally, no additional injuries in the process. That's always good. I've slide these things up. Hang on a minute. They're so close now. Now I can't slide past. Look. Yeah, I'm sure that's not going to be very ideal, but yeah, there we go. Right, so we'll test that later when we go to the 4000 boards. Let's now try and get this chip off here. I'll point you down a little bit. So where is it? It's here, isn't it? Let's just add a little bit of fresh solder to it. See, I soldered one or two of the pins there just in case there was a bad connection, but yeah, I don't think that's the issue. That ground's going to be a pain. Strictly speaking, I probably don't need to add this solder. I could just literally suck it straight off. I'm sure it'll come off. Let's just do those ones up there as well. What I should have done is got that solder fume extractor thing working first, shouldn't I? I'm not doing things the right way around, really. Let's start down here. Hang on. Yeah, it's that one. That was the first one. Let's give it a go. See what it's like. Wow. The only thing I'm noticing, can you see, there's a bit of solder in the thing there, look. Oops, let's just carefully put that out of the way before I break it. Yeah, there's a little plug there, look. Let's try that one again. I might need to go a bit higher actually on this. Let me just increase the temperature a little bit. You need to get a ZD915. You mean like that? Yeah, I just can't use it when my wife's in the other room. She's got a thing about noise. She can't deal with noises nearby and stuff, and it does make quite a bit of noise actually. She's in a language lesson usually. That's one of the main reasons noise is an issue. Anyway, let's try that. The other problem is, with the lockdown, she's home based at the moment, so she's working very nearby as well during the week. She's off on a Friday, generally, so I might be able to use the Desol station one Friday. It's just yet one more of the frustrations at the moment. Might be an idea if I just move this camera around a little bit actually, just because it is really in my way. That's a bit better. Can't see if that's gone or not. Yeah, I like this desolder pump, but it's getting a plug in the end there pretty easy, isn't it? Maybe because it's brand new. Yeah, that's working really well actually. I don't know if you could see that. It sucked the solder away super well on that pin. Not quite there. It's got that little bung on the end there, it's gone now. Yeah, you've got to squish it right down. It seems like a bad idea, doesn't it? Because you think it's going to melt, but if you actually squeeze it right over the end there, that's where you get obviously maximum suction, because it grips all around the area there to give you more suction. Plug there, look. Can't see what's happened there. Let me just inspect that. Bear with me a sec. Oh my god, I've mangled the pads there. Seriously mangled the pads there with that iron. I think I'll turn it down a little bit. That's what you get from going too high. Can you see that? One of those is a bit bent. That's the problem with going too high. Let's try the other side. Go to the other side from there, Cam. What was that? You really should use a desoldering gun. Yeah, I have a desoldering gun. If I have £1 for every time someone says you should use a desoldering gun, I have one. I don't want to use one right now. I'm testing this. The whole purpose of this is to test this. But also, it drives my wife to despair when she's sat in the other room trying to do a language lesson, teaching somebody or learning from somebody, and all she can hear is in the background. So it's like, yeah, it's just one of the limitations I have to deal with at the moment. The thing I'm not sure about with this is this normal, for it to keep going up here like this and sticking in here. Maybe it's the way it's designed. Oh my goodness, is that a donation? Wow, thank you very much. Thank you for all the repair videos. I can't tell you how helpful they've been in restoring and repairing all my vintage computers. That's fantastic. Thank you ever so much for that. Very, very, very much appreciated. Yeah, that one blocked really well, that one. I'm sure you can't see very much from there, but trust me, it did. There's a plug in there again, look. Yeah, so far I would say that this is really good in terms of its suction. Maybe because it's brand new, it might be blocking with solder on the end a little bit more than normal there. Look, it's come out now. But the suction wise, it's far better than the one I was using. And obviously it's reliable. Yeah, so I've got that Soldering, no worries, but then I've got a plug in there, can you see it? Just like a little bit. Let's just try it again with the next one. Yeah, it's just going to take a while to get used to, I think. Anyway, the pads aren't disintegrating a bit like those other ones did. And all I've done is pull it down by about 30 degrees. I'm not sure if we've got half a pad there, it's hard to see. Plug again. I think what I might do is just free this up with hot air, actually. This is another thing, you know, if I was using the ZD915, I wouldn't need to. This would have been really light work on the solder station. Yeah, that pin's going to be a pain in the bum. Yeah, this is why I need more heat, actually. I probably need to turn it up for this one pin, because it's all of this ground here. You just turn it up. I'm going to go as high as 460 on that. We'll just give that a few seconds to heat up. Yeah, thank you very much for that donation. It was super appreciated. Beeps, hi Beeps. Yeah, and I saw your messages the other night, Beeps, actually, about that. Those Amstrad GX4000s. If you still had them, I wouldn't mind that. You know, I can have a look at them for you. But if that guy who's looked at them for you is saying that the ASICs have died on all four of them, it's yeah, there's not going to be a lot you can do, is there? But I mean, if he was not 100% sure and you want a bit of luck with them, I could look at them for you. But we might just come to the same conclusion. It's the most common thing, can you see that? Which with a bit more heat there. That unblocked that issue there. Yeah, so anyway, this chip does need to come off here, but I think I will free it up with hot air, because you can see, you know, because I've not used a desolder station here, you know, you get little bits of solder on both sides here, and yeah, you can push the pins, you can wobble them, you know, some people do, just to try and free them up, snap them off, but yeah, it's just far easier if I just turn this up to about 400 degrees roughly, hot air, you know. Hang on, still there, hang on, 370, 380, 390. Let's go to 410, I'll do. And we'll just stick that now on there. And someone's bound to say, oh, don't use hot air near a lithium battery. Well, we're not right next to it. It's not going to explode. Famous last words. And I could get Captain tape on this, but it'll be alright. Let's just heat this for a minute or two. I'm more curious to see if the other two real-time clocks on this board just say no real-time clock detected, because I think that's what's going to happen. And I think we take this off and put this on one of the ones where the other memory expansions there you saw that say no real-time clock detected. It may then work, but we've got this 12-hour thing where when it wraps over the hour, it shoots back to AM instead of PM. So it'll be interesting to see both those scenarios really in advance of me getting the chips, because I'm not going to have to wait, it might be a week or two yet at least. I think they're coming from China. I'm trying desperately to avoid ordering anything from China just now. Because of delays and everything else. Obviously I'm going to have to disinfect whatever I get in. Anything that comes through the post I'm going to have to disinfect it, because you never know. The other problem with ordering some of those cheap chips like that, I don't know how many of them are going to work. I've ordered 4. I'm kind of expecting like 2 of them will work and 2 of them won't. Now that's me being a bit pessimistic, but the chances are they're probably not new stock, are they? The ones I've ordered are probably reclaims of some other piece of hardware or something that just happens to use the same chips. Yeah, this side's freeing up, look. I think, unless I'm seeing things. Yeah, that side's freeing up. Just this side now. I'll try and move you a bit over there so you can see a little bit better. I can't do this way. Yeah, I need to do it right-handed, just put a bit of pressure on the board as I pull it up. Look, there you go. So that's that. Put that down there. I'm not sure if in the processor we lost that pad, but it's one of those doesn't do it. I know it's not. I was going to say it's one of those don't do anything pads anyway. It's not doing anything. So we need a socket for that, don't we? And then we can test those. Let's just see if I've got any sockets to hand here. How many pins is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. It's 18 pin. Might have some new ones from the Archimedes stuff actually. Let me just see if any of those are 18 pin. Yeah, those aren't 18, are they? No. And those aren't. Those are really long, if you look at those. Yeah. Those are the ones for the serial stuff at the back of that Archimedes board, actually. These look a bit short as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are 16. Let me just go and get my spare sockets tray. Someone's put socket question. Yeah, I want a socket on there. I want a socket on there because I've got some of the chips I want to test on it. And we're going to be putting a new one on when that arrives. Won't be a sec. sockets. Let's just try that one for size. That looks like, yeah, I think. Yeah, that's the right size. One problem, of course, when you freeboot out like this is it doesn't leave, you know, you've got to remove the solder, haven't you? Just realised I need to turn that down a little bit. I don't want to overheat these now the chip's not there, you see. Oh, there we go, so I'm blocking alright. I'm blocking really well, that. Yeah, I think we did lose that corner pad there, but there's nothing going to it. That's often why you lose them. Well, that's not why you lose them, but that's one factor that makes them easier to lose. You lose them because you're an idiot like I am. That's the thing, if I'd taken a bit more time with it, perhaps I wouldn't have lost that one pad. Yeah, that's just something I'm going to have to learn to get used to with that. I'm to pull the plug out of it. You know, it gets like a little solder plug in the end every now and again, doesn't it? Really pleased with that pump, it's working so well. There we go, sorted. So, let's get the socket on. Where's pin 1 now? It's up this side. Hang on a sec, let me use the braid on that. There's kind of like a bit of a lump there, which means it's not going up into the socket on that corner very well. Yeah, some people don't like sockets. Stephen was saying on his stream earlier he doesn't want to fit sockets on his Harlequin, he's just going to stick the chip straight on. And I can see both sides of the fence really. It's, sockets some people think are a source of failure. What have I done with that socket now? There it is. Which is certainly the case. You know, it's something else to fail, isn't it? But I always like to put sockets on things because I don't always get things right, and it just makes it a bit easier if I do something wrong. Pin's nearly coming out of that now. Yeah, because it's not ready to go in there. I've just pushed, you know, it's pushed the pin up a little bit. There we go, it's almost out the socket. Sometimes with things like this, what I'll do is if I've got a hole there like that, is literally just press it a little bit on either side. Ah, that was, hang on. No, it is unblocked. I thought it wasn't unblocked for a minute, but it is. Yeah, I can see through that. The main thing is you want to make sure you don't damage the through hole or damage the pad. That's it. No worries, let's solder that on now. So yeah, when we started off there, I had a bit too much heat on some of the pads down here and I malformed that one. Let's just see if I can straighten out a little bit with my pointy tool actually. You know, with too much heat, there you go. They can bend and parts of the pads can come off. That's what happens if you use too much heat. And I think we may have a pad missing there, I'm not sure. Normally I would inspect it, but I don't need to, I'm holding it, it'll be fine, I'm sure. I'm not sure if we lost a pad on that second one as well there actually. That's looking a right mess, isn't it? Yeah, that there, it's not got a pad, has it? Might just need to touch that second or third pin there from the other side to make sure that it's joined on the other side, because that's where the trace is going to be. It really isn't the end of the world. The main thing is we can leave this in a functional state when I'm done here, I'm sure. And with that one there, what I might do is just trace a piece of kynar down there later to make it reliable. It's quite possibly some of the worst soldering I've ever done. And the worst desoldering. Let me just inspect it with magnification, hang on a sec. Oh, it's not too bad actually. It's one of those, it looks worse. Yeah, it's not quite as bad as it looks. So you've got more solder on that pin there. And the pads aren't as bad as I thought either. Alright, let's just have a look over that side. Yeah, I can't really solder from that side on that pin, can I? That's going to be the problem there. It's an easy, I was going to say, I think it's an easy one to test because that's the one that goes to the crystal actually. So we'll know if that's not joined up. Let's just add a bit more solder in there just for good measure. Yeah, okay. Let me just test a couple of things on the meter here. Yeah, someone said it's losing the through-hole plating. That's true, Peter Mulholland. Yeah, if you lose the through-hole plating, that's the big problem. Right, so let's just flip this over. So the one that wasn't soldering very well is this second pin here, and I know that's going to go to the crystal down here, one of the pins. Yeah, and it's there, look. And if I test the third pin, yeah. So the one that looked like it hadn't soldered very well, that second pin, has connected up to the crystal. There, so that's all right. And then the only other one I was bothered about is this one here that looks like there wasn't very much of a pad, but it seems to have joined. And it actually hasn't, I don't think. Mind you, there's that much flux on there. Let me just inspect it with a magnification. Hang on a sec. Yeah, I think that pad had gone on there. Let's fix that as well. If I can find me kynar. I'd like to try and blame the corrosion, but the corrosion isn't the fault. It is me. I just used a bit too much heat there as we were experimenting with that desolder pump. So that is ultimately why we've ended up with one wire here. I always have a crazy time with this kynar, and I trim it down, then I heat it up to tin it, and then I have to trim it down again because, you know, with a bit of heat it shrinks back. The covering shrinks back, that's the problem. Oh, too many things in the way. I mean, the thing is, I didn't see any corrosion under there, by the way. I don't think you didn't spot. I don't think you'll have seen anything. I didn't see anything. Why is that not heating now? There we go. Yeah, that's it. So we've got a little fixed wound there. We can clean that up afterwards. Do we need to remove anything from there? That's got a bit of through-hole plating on it, actually, that one, but it's the through-hole plating from the pin that wasn't used. Can you see that? That's the pin doesn't do anything in the corner there. So you could argue the actual reason that came off was I should have given it longer with the hot air. I perhaps pulled it a little bit too soon there. Let's straighten the pins out. One or two of these have just got a little bit of solder on the end. Oop. I'll try and catch up with the chat in a minute, guys. Right, let's take that over there. We'll try to take the other two RAM boards as well. Let's just do a bit of juggling with the chips to see what happens. I'll leave that chip on there for the moment. Just make sure there's no particles of solder on it. It looks okay, I think. We'll take the other two as well. That went with the other two chips now. I think the other two chips are on the other side of the room actually. So I'll just unplug you from here and we'll just wheel over there. Let's put you down there a sec. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is test the chip we've just took off on this one. So it goes that way around. Alright, so I need a battery. Take the battery off the other one. Get it out. This is the battery that came from someone else's board actually. I think it was Cather's PC, because it was really low. Well, I say low, it's about 2.9 volts or something. It's all scratched up, can you see that? But it was like that in his board. So I'm not sure where he got that battery from and how it got so scratched up. But anyway, I've just been using it for testing these. So let's connect that up. That's all on there. That's definitely the right way around, because I can see the two connections that go to the crystal there on that side. It's definitely the right type of chip. So switch it on, point at the screen, and let's just see what that's reporting. Hang on, sorry, crazy angle. No clock detected. So there is something not quite right on the board, I think, on that one, rather than the chip. Unless I've damaged it even worse, taking it off. So let's do the inverse now. I'll put that one on the side. Yeah, I've just put that, take that board out. I've put it on the side there. I've put the board, we've just put the socket in here. Let's get this up. In some ways that's good news, because it means I can just go away and check that board now to work out maybe what's wrong. Let's fit one of the real-time clocks off the other boards onto this one and see what happens. Battery, battery. I know it's not particularly exciting looking at batteries and real-time clock mods on these, but it's just something I need to do, so it's what I've got to share at the moment. Put you back up there again. Let's go into the battery, real-time clock. Wow, so it's actually detected it, hasn't it? The weird thing is it's got settings, and I was going to say it's got the right time of day, hasn't it? Let's reset it. We'll set it. So what's the date today? It's May now, isn't it? May the 2nd, is it? Yes, it is. May the 2nd. And it's, well, let's just see if it's rolling over properly. Let's do that thing again. Let's set it to 1300. Let's go for 1359 again. There's no reason why it shouldn't wrap over properly now with this chip. 59, what's it, seconds again, pretty close to 50, 55 maybe. It's going to be something I have to test from this point on, this, isn't it? Making sure it wraps over properly. So there we go. Saturday, May the 2nd, 1359, save and exit. And let's see what happens. So it's ticking up, 58, 59, there you go, 1400. So it was the chip. So that other chip has got an issue, I think. Because there was definitely no corrosion underneath it. So that's good, because, well, despite the fact it means, you know, I've added a wire to this, but that now means that I can go back to Tom. We know we fixed it. it also gives me some confidence that the real-time clock chips on the other two boards are probably okay. So it does leave me wondering, what's wrong with this? This is the one we've just tested. Was it this one? No, it was this one. We just tested this a minute ago, and it said that no real-time clock detected. So that is a bit odd. What I might have to do on this is remove the socket, because that's the original socket that was on this, and it's the same story with this one. So maybe just there's some corrosion underneath those sockets. So I'll perhaps do that off stream or on another stream at some point. I think the next thing we'll do is try and get that fan working. Go and just build a power supply for that. Then we'll have a look at those A4000 boards with the new power supply adapter, I think. Well, that's good news. You know, you can see that is actually ticking away there, and it's not come up with any errors. What was the clue to me is, like I say, I'd leave it overnight, and then I'd come back, and despite having the correct time actually at that point, it would say time and date is incorrect, needs resetting. But it wasn't incorrect, and I was like looking at it going, well, why is it incorrect? It looks fine to me. And that was when I started experimenting with the hour and noticing it wasn't wrapping over properly on 24 hours. So let's fly back over there. Plug the camera back onto charge here. Right, I need to go find a power supply, don't I? I mean, I can take you over there when we go look in a minute. I can find in that box. I was going to send them some of them to Jay's Vintage Junk, but I just haven't got around to sorting that out yet. Yeah, so thank you very much, Andrew Littleboy, again for this. This is really nice. And it's kind of stopped, you know, the solder stopped plugging in there after a bit. It's probably because it's brand new. The first number of times you use it, it's probably more prone to the solder maybe collecting in the nozzle there. I don't know, man, that might be the way it's been designed. As I say, it might do that all the time anyway, but it's just going to be getting used to it, I think, more than anything. But it's way better than the one I was using, that's for sure. Let's just wipe this down. Let's get all these bits of solder off here. What I normally do with this is have something to eject the bits of solder into nearby, you know, like a little container, or sometimes I'll just put paper towel down here and just eject onto the paper towel. Anywhere. In this case, I've just gone crazy and just ejected it everywhere. Look. Andrew Littleboy, are there any ROMs left on MU Paradise? I think they've pulled everything, haven't they? But from what I remember, you can look at the Wayback Machine and you can find links to things on there and find that things still work. Well, I could anyway a while back, that's what I was doing. For anything, odd thing I was looking for, I couldn't find, I'd look on the Wayback Machine and yeah, it would spring back to life, the links would work. I'm not sure if that's the case. I think it was coming from Google Cache, wasn't it? There was a Google Cache or something you could search and you could find things on there and find them that way. It's a shame though, because that was one of the main websites, wasn't it, with lots of things on there. Peter Mulholland, you might find 32 kHz crystal is dead. No, I've checked them both. In fact, I've not only checked them, one of them I swapped out anyway, just because it looked a bit corroded. And again, I measured it afterwards. It's one of the very first things to do when it says no clock, because if you've not got the crystal there, it's definitely not going to work, is it? But the crystal isn't the issue on either of them, which is why I'm contemplating taking the sockets off on them. But that's a valid point. Yeah, so really pleased with that. So let's just wheel over there and get a power supply, I think. So just we want 12 volts, so I mean some of these ones are laptop ones, look, that's going to be 20 odd volts, isn't it, I think, 18 volts or something like that. I'm just looking for something that looks like it might just be 12 volts. What is that? It's a American plug, that, isn't it? Like, how about that one there? What's that? Garmin. I can't see that. Let me just look through this camera on it. 5 volts, 1 amp. About that one. Wow, that weighs a ton, that one. One, hang on, am I seeing things? Does that say 13 volts? Or, yeah, 13 volts. We'll get away with that, actually, thinking about it. Put that one to the side, just in case. But I think that one will work. Is that the same one I've looked at? It's a Garmin one. Yeah, that's the same one I've just done. Let's have a look at that one. 9 volts, that's going to be AC, 400 milliamp. I don't know if that one was AC, actually. I need to recheck that. What else have we got here? Yeah, that's one of those step downs, isn't it? 110 to 200 and something volt. Yeah, there. 110 volts, look. 45 watt. I'll put that on the side there. I've got another one of those now. I think I've now got 3 of those, actually, now I think about it. See what we've got in this one. About that. 7.5 volts. Oh, there we go. 12 volts, 200 milliamps. That one's just the job, actually, I think. Can't see where its wire is going. Hang on. Where is its wire going? It's going to a SCART hub, look. Okay. Let's go with that one, I think. Oh, hang on. I'm not sure what this would have been used with, actually. It's got a really weird SCART thing here and a little mini DIN and a RJ45 or something. Most mysterious. I'm just going to see if... I don't really need to desolder it, do I? I can just chop it off here. That's probably the easiest thing. Yeah, that fan is less than 200 milliamps. It's like 120 or something, or 100, might be 180 actually, so I'm pushing it with this, but we'll use this one anyway, I think. Looks like a CCTV power supply. Yeah, maybe. Actually, it may well be. That wire's not very thick, is it? Mind you, one side is and one side isn't. Yeah, and it's not that I've cut the strands off. I think one side is just slightly thicker than the other. Might be that the ground's the thicker side, I don't know. But anyway, we'll measure it in a sec. Let's just tin these up. It's one of those chicken and egg situations. I need the fan to get rid of these fumes, and I'm actually making the power supply for the fan. Where's that DC jack gone? Now it's there. Right, I'm going to go plug this in. We'll measure it. Oh, I can plug it in here. The extension's here. That's easy. Just make sure these don't short while I actually connect it up. It is DC, isn't it? Yeah, it's 12 volt DC. Let's just stick something under that so you can actually see it. Let's just hold it with that on there. What? 19 volts, do you see? That's supposed to be 12 volts. Good God, I'm not sure I want I'm not sure I want to go with that one now. 19 volts DC, supposed to be 12. Yeah, alright, it's going to drop under load, but plumbing 19 volts, that fan's going to burst into flames, isn't it? Unregulated. Yeah, but I mean, I've seen unregulated before, but that is really bad. That's awful. Let me get that 13 volt one, let's measure it before I chop anything off it. I think this is the 19 volt, 13 volt one. But it's like I say, you know, it would work, but yeah, I think that fan wouldn't last long, would it? It'd be spinning round for its dear life. You'd probably measure it with the fan connected, it'd probably be 17 or 18 volts, I reckon. Because it doesn't pull very... Who's wrapped it like this? I hate people do crazy wrapping with wires. I could spend the next half hour untangling this, look. Oh my goodness. It's real fun tying that in knots. To be fair, what usually happens is someone usually wraps it around something, then it all slides back on itself and folds over, and then you end up with a big knot like that. Right, it's still got a big knot there, look, but I'm not really bothered about that for just for the moment. Let's just try and stretch it over and see. Let's measure this. Let's see what crazy voltage we get out of this one now, shall we? Can we see the meter there? Giant light reflection on it again. So this one's supposed to be 13 volts, I think. That was 19 volts as well. The irony is with these power supplies, I'd be better off going and finding the 5-volt one. I'd probably find the 5 volts actually outputting 12 volts, wouldn't it? That's the reality. Let's just see if there's any more up there I can test. Just stick that in there for the moment. Yeah, let's see what we've got in this box. What's that one? That's 5 volts, 2.5 amp. I could probably get away with 5 volts. Looks like it's even got the right connector on it, actually. It's a bit big, actually, though. What on earth's that one? I can't even see that one. It's a Nokia. 3.7 volts, I think. I believe it, I'm actually running out of power supplies to choose from here. That's like a Sony Ericsson one, doesn't it? It is, that's exactly what it is. I'm guessing that's going to be another 3-point-something volts. I don't know, I can't even see what that is. Oh, let's try and untangle the wire. It's exciting, isn't it, looking at power supplies? What voltage is that? 4.9 volts, I think. .5 volts. Piddling current on these as well. That was like 0.4 of an amp or something. I don't know then. I don't know. Do we go with these insanely dangerous ones? I don't know. Where's that one? I chop the wire off now. Is that one, wasn't it? 12 volts, 200 milliamp. Well, based on the fact that that can only provide 200 milliamps, let's just go with the best of the bad bunch here and see what happens. I think. What's the worst that can happen? You get flat flames coming out of the fan. Sounding as if I build a PSU from scratch. Yeah, it's not hard. I mean, I've built loads of power supplies over the years myself. I would typically start with, the way I used to do them, is like a step-down transformer, like, you know, down to say 12 volts, and then put a regulator on it, and well, a bridge, and then a smoothing cap, regulator. I'm not sure which is positive and which is negative, actually, either. That's the other problem with this. All that's going to happen is it's just going to go backwards if I get it around the wrong way, isn't it? Let me just do a measurement on here, so if we can work out. Mind you, I'm not going to know which is the positive, am I? That's the problem. Because I can't touch there's nothing to actually measure between, is there? We can always let's just try it, and we can always just flip it around the other way if I feel like it's blowing the wrong way. Which way should it be blowing? I'm thinking it's better to have it facing this way and sucking like that way. So let's just see which way the airflow goes, I think. Oh, it's turning into one of these streams now where I've start losing things like this. Lost the DC jack. There we go. So I've got no idea which way it is. Like I say, we're just going to go with something and then see what happens. Just bring my things in. I hope we don't kill it. Just bring those down a bit actually. There's my housing gun now. I've lost the blooming... Oh, it's there. That's nearly a fatal mistake that I nearly always forget. Put your housing over first. So we'll just see what it's like one way. If it's blowing the right way, then I can literally just, I don't know, put it together. And if it's not, I can then just flip them around. What you're better off doing with something like this here is, well, I'll tell you what, until we know it's right, I'm not going to do that because we might need to trim that one down anyway. But what I was going to say is trim this side down so that it doesn't have a bend in it like this. So it just joins up nicely. There we go. Right, let's give it a try. Well, my wife's usually moaning about the desolder station. Is this going to be a new one? What's that wind tunnel noise coming from the conservatory? Turn it off. Can't hear myself think. That's what's going to happen with this, I think. Hold on a minute. Right, it's in. Switch it on. On. Yeah, something's not right, is it? Something is not right. Let's try that. Oh, there we go. Whoa, look at that. Hey! Fantastic. And it's blowing the right way. It's blowing towards us here. Let's just pull that out. I'm not even going to bother sorting that out just yet. What you should do, in fact, let's do that. Come on then. Let's just do it properly. Because then I can just crimp that thing there and then we're done. I just unplug it. Hang on. That was nearly a fatal mistake. Nice way to short out in the internal fuse and the power supplies by soldering it while it's plugged in. Let's just disconnect that. To be fair, they probably don't have a fuse. They probably have a thermal fuse. What I was going to do is just... Oh, there's a bit of charge still in there. Don't worry, it wasn't plugged in. Let's just... Did you see that spark, by the way? That's what I'm referring to. We'll just trim that down a bit. Yeah, the cap in there would have been charged up. That's what that little spark was. Yeah, so then when we solder it on here, there'll be the same sort of length, you know, there'll be little difference between them, and then we can just crimp them in that little metal thing there. Can you see that? You just squeeze it with pliers to grip the two. Anyway, let's use my helping hands again if I can find the balloon things. Where have they gone? Oh, they're here. Put that there. I quite like the speed of that fan actually. I think, you know, we're overclocking it, aren't we? It's probably going to have more than 12 volts going in it. It's been overclocked. Maybe the fan needs a fan to cool it down because it's been overclocked. Stick a heatsink on it. And where's the solder gone? Things will get a lot better when I get onto the table. You never know, I might achieve that by the end of the lockdown. Might be working off a table before things resume normalcy, if that ever happens. See, what's happened now is I've cut off too much off this side, I think, actually, in retrospect. Let's just relocate that one there, if we can. Let's get a bit of solder again. Put it sideways on like that, near the top. Just so that as it pulls down, this one won't have so much of a problem soldering onto there, and it will look in straight, if that makes sense. And obviously, if you're doing something like this yourself, you might want to heat shrink certainly the centre point thing there. That's it. Yeah, there you go. So you can see they're kind of in line with each other now. They're not. There's not a massive length difference between them. We can just pull that down, crimp that together there. That's probably the worst crimping job I've ever done. Yeah, that'll do. That'll hold it. Sweet. Right. So yeah, thanks to zxkim for providing this, and thanks to my friend Dr. Andrew for providing the power supply. Fantastic. I guess the other downside, that's making more sound than I'm making, I think. Probably won't be able to hear me from the wind noise. The impossible wind tunnel. The other thing I was thinking with this, let me just show you a bit closer as well, if I just switch it off. You can see he's got like a cover sort of thing here, you know, just for large particles. What you really want is something sort of HEPA quality, but because there's this back cage thing here, can you see, look how much space there is in here between this back cover and the actual fan? I could actually get a piece of you know, proper filter stuff cut to size and stick it in there. So I think I'll do that. I think I'll get some, like, I don't know, HEPA quality type stuff and stick it in the back there. And it's adjustable as well. It's a bit top heavy when you get over a certain angle like that, you can see. But what I could do maybe is stick something on the base there to make it the base even heavier. But to be honest, you're only going to want to put it tilted forward like that anyway. That's the way it's going to be used, really, rather than tilted the other way. It's going to be that way, like that, while I'm working on stuff. But that is really sweet. So thanks a lot for that, zxkim. You're a star for sending me that. It's brilliant. It's really well made. So I said use N95 filtration material. Thank you for that, Michael's Workshop. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll order some. I've probably got some filter stuff somewhere. I'm sure I have, actually, thinking about it. So let's. I'm going to be finishing up soon because I've been going on long enough here. I know we've all been doing odds and ends, but what we'll do is we'll just go and try and those that Amiga power supply adapter. I'll bring the first board in. Let's try the Rev 6. So I'll pull you back a little bit because this board's huge. Yeah, I'm amazed how big these boards are. I'll just put that out of the way as well, just for the moment. Yeah, massive, these boards. Pull that out of there. So this is the board you perhaps saw me fixing a previous stream here with the warped thing around here where somebody used like a wallpaper stripper or something to remove the chips. But this board is 100%. It was partially recapped, is working. Now I think it says on that, I'll show you, hang on. It says on here, it says J300, I think, doesn't it? Yeah, it says J300. So J300 is there. I could have sworn on one of the boards it says J200, but anyway, it's in its default setting, so we'll try it as is and see what happens. I don't know whether it's going to not boot without a tick signal or what. I honestly don't know. It's something I've never really thought about or tried. All right, I need to make some space over there first, won't I? So I'll take you over here with the MacBook so I can do chat. We'll remove this from here. We'll just set it up on here. It's going to be a bit of a tight fit, I think, but I can just about isolate on that box off the floor there, I think. Just move that around there. Let's disconnect the power. Video. I'll disconnect the floppy drive. So I'll just move this out. Stick that on top of there for the moment. I'll bring the board over. So before I put that board down there, let me just plug the power supply in. I want to get the ESD wrist strap on. And just hook into the power supply here. Yeah, that's it. So I've got a strap on, bring the board in. Wow, I forgot how big this was. I think when I worked on this last time, it was in the case. I only ever had this, or maybe I did have it on something like this. I honestly can't remember what I tested it on last time. It's a huge board though. It horrifies me how big these are compared to an A4000 actually. Right, let's get the video up. The video's right over here, isn't it? I think. Yeah, so I think the only other thing we need is power. So that goes in there like that. It's nice tight fit. Got to watch the metal thing on there. I might take that off in a minute actually. The nuts. And if I disconnect the one from the 4000 adapter, I'm not sure you can see what I'm doing over here. And let's connect that up. Yeah, what I'm worried about here is that metal thing around there potentially shorting on something anyway. If I'm just careful with it, let's just switch it on. See what happens. Yeah, it's doing something. I think. There's anything missing off that board. Like a ROM. No, there isn't. It's got a ROM on it. Did that reboot? Yeah, it might be because the tick signal's missing. That's the obvious one here, isn't it? So, trying to get it to point upwards and also stay still there. Yeah, it's just resetting itself, isn't it? So let's assume it's the tick signal. So hang on, let's switch the power supply off. I'll change that J300 over to the other position. Let's see what happens. It's been a long time since I used this board though, so I have to admit. Oh yeah, look, it's booting now. We're getting that. I'm not sure why we're getting that. That can be normal behaviour though when you've... On some of these, like a F6 will do that. Where you get gurus for no reason, especially when you've got nothing connected up to it, like drives and things. Yeah, it's booting them. I'll connect up a floppy drive. Well, that's good. That means I can do more with these 2000 boards like this and some of my cards and things I've got for these. And I might do some of those other things in other streams. Not going to do much in this stream. I can see if this is booting. Let's connect the floppy drive up. I can work out where the pin one is. Pin one's there. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh yeah, no, I was going to say I've not got a floppy power connector, but I have. I've got the one on the ATX power supply. Let's just use that. Yeah, it's all balancing precariously. I'll just show you. The floppy drive just floating on the top of the cables there, but anyway, you can see that's working. I'll plug the mouse in. I'm curious to see if this has kept the time and date and all the time it's been sat in that bag there, because it's been sat on the side for what must be about 3 or 4 months, I think, actually, without being used. And the wrong port, I think. Let's try the joystick port. See if that works. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, hasn't kept the right time, has it? It thinks this is 28th of July. So yeah, I think the battery pulling is replaced, and I vaguely remember the battery being really low on this. We'll try the Rev 4 board now, because I'm not sure where the jumper is on the Rev 4 board. But yeah, all we had to do there to get this working without the tick was change that jumper over there, J300. So anyway, let's switch that off. Just connect this one, and we'll connect up the Rev 4. I think what I need to get next for this power supply is an adapter from one of these Molex to one or more of those, I think. because I've only got the one. So when I want to use, you know, either want more than one drive at once, or use IDE and you know, compact flash adapter, and oh my goodness, this is going to be hard to get off here now. I can tell. There we go. I didn't bend the pins, did I? No. Right, so let me bring the ESD bag over, and I'll bring the other board as well. So I'll start by, put the wrist strap back on. I'll just start by putting this board back in its bag, I think. I'm glad that works after all that time though. I'm disappointed the battery didn't hold, you know, the real-time clock didn't hold its time and date, but I think the battery's fairly flat. Right, that's one down. And one to go. So I think this was the first board I showed on my channel, wasn't it? Yeah, this is the one I got before I got a full A2000 system there. So you can see, you know, we had lots of this solder mask, well, it's not solder mask, nail polish here. But it's stayed in really good condition. I'm sure this one is 100% worth as well. But again, it's been a while since I've used this, since before Christmas, I think. So that's video. Let's connect power. Now where's J300? Oh, J300's in the same place. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can see that. It's in the same place, so I'm going to swap that over now. Yeah, that's handy. I didn't know whether they'd stuck the jumper on the earlier board or not, but clearly they did. So let's connect power up again. And switch it on. Ooh, got a yellow screen on this one, let me show you that. Yeah, that's a bit of a surprise. Show you, switch it on. Yellow screen. Just pushing the chips in just to make sure everything's in properly. Well, that's a bit of a surprise. So I might be re-repairing something I had on my channel previously. Wonder why we're getting a yellow screen there. I do remember that there was at one point where, when I put the old faulty chips, it was given a yellow screen. I'm now wondering if I've inadvertently stuck one of the old chips back in it or something, but I don't know, I don't think I have. I'm just looking at the chips that are in there. No. These are both Fujitsu ones. Reseat the CPU, because I also know that the CPU was last minute shoved in here. No, it is giving a yellow screen. Well, at least it gives me something else to do on another stream perhaps. But it would seem that we have a yellow screen on this one. Let's switch it off and try that jumper in the other position. No, still a yellow screen. So that's interesting. Yeah, there must be something related to the original repair here, like a corroded wire or something that I've missed. Must be. It's not going to be the ROM, because if you get problems with the Kickstart ROM, you get a red screen. But anyway, reseat it anyway. Can't remember if I replaced that socket. I'm pretty sure I did. I think it was on the other board we didn't replace the ROM socket. Where's the power switch gone? It's over here. Anyway, yeah, we definitely got a yellow screen with that one, so that's going to be something to look at in a future video, I think. I haven't seen any repeat of the corrosion though. All the wires and things around here do look alright. So, it's a bit of a mystery, that one. I'm trying to think the last thing I did to this board on my channel. I think the last thing we did was the Agnes, wasn't it? Swapped the Agnes out, and it was working. Buster will give you a yellow screen, but that socket is alright there. Well, I'm disappointed with that. Because now I'm going to have to get that working, aren't I? Right, I think I'm going to get off, guys. Let me just catch up with this chat in case I missed anything. Any suggestions or anything there for that yellow screen? I replace almost every CPU socket that come across the machine. Yeah, a lot of the time I fit, you know, 10-pin machine type sockets. Right, Simcox, thanks for the relief for the lockdown boredom today, mate. Yeah, no problems. I'm sorry it's not been very exciting. It might be a bit more interesting when we come to look at that yellow screen issue now on that A4000 board. I'm a bit gutted, if I'm honest, because that A1000 board has been working perfectly. I think I did use it. I've used it since Christmas, actually. I think I used it a month or two back. It's like February, end of February, when I was testing some of the cards I've got here. I'll show you some of those now just briefly. Let me just point you back down there a sec before I go. You saw the GVP the other day, but yeah, it was early February, or mid-February I think. I was testing these. So I've got that there, that's an A2091. So that was on there, and it was working, everything was working. And this one, which I think I briefly showed when I covered the FPU stuff on my channel, 6882. So that's an A2630, came from all the way from Australia, this actually. It's in very good condition. There's a bit of what looks like rust here. It's just a bit of flux that's gone ready. Can you see that around the points that hold the shielding cannon there? But that's an A2630 again. That was working fine, that board, in February. And then there's a couple of cards I've not got now, actually. I'll show you. I had a Supra, and there was a couple of other RAM cards I had, but those will be coming up on my channel shortly. One of them was like a review. It's a new product, a Z-RAM board. But yeah, I'm disappointed with that. It's really annoyed me. So it might be one of those. After the stream ends, I'm probably going to go and hit it with a logic probe actually, and just probe a few things, see if I can see anything obvious. Thomas Andrews had Super RAM reports all RAM is bad. Any idea? Well, it could be the RAM that's bad. That's the first thing. If it's not that, you know, obviously clean up the connections and things on it, clean up the edge connector. If it's still doing the same thing, maybe you've got a fault somewhere on there in terms of, you know, the address decoding or something. But from my experience, the problem I had with the Supra is when you upgrade a Rev 6.2 board to, say, a specification of 6.4, you know, changing the resistor packs and things like that, it wouldn't work at all. The Supra would not work on a Rev 6, you know, equivalent of 6.4 wouldn't work for me whatsoever. Yeah, but I've talked about that before, the mods. Be careful what mods you apply to those 6.2 boards. Anyway, I am going to get off, guys. I'm going to get some tea and have a quick look at that board off camera, I think, because it's going to frustrate me. And I'll catch you in the next stream. Thank you very much for the donations and things. Take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next video.